I'm going to go over the homework problem 757 from homework 715. And this is looking at data. It says Erica is tracking the depth of the water of her local creek. Her first 12 measurements are below in inches, and here is her data that she has collected. And it wants us to find the median, quartile 1, and third quartile. With that, I can create a box plot, and I want to do an interquartile range. So the first thing I need to do is to take all that data and put it in order. So I've already done that just to save time. Now I'm going to find median first. Median means halfway through my data. In elementary, you learn to cross out the smallest number, the largest number, smallest, largest, and keep doing that until you find the middle number. But I'm going to actually count how many numbers I have. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 numbers, so I know halfway through 12 is 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, that would be halfway through my data. So if I want to check, I have 6 numbers on the left side of the line and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers on the right side of the line. That means my median actually falls between 11 and 12. So my median is going to be 11 and a half or 11 and 5/10 because that's halfway between 11 and 12. First quartile. It's called a quartile because I'm really dividing my data into 4 even parts or 4 quarters. Well, I've already divided in half, so now I got to take this first half of the data and divide it in half again because half of the half is a quarter. So once again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. Halfway through 6 would be 3. So I'm going to count to 3, and that is a quarter away through my data. I can check it because look at the line. I have 3 numbers here, and I have 3 numbers here. Halfway between 9 and 10 is 9 and a half. Third quartile is like 3 quarters of the way. So I have 1 quarter of the way here. I have 2 quarters of the way. So now I got to figure out 3 quarters of the way. So again, it's going to be the halfway from this mark right here to the end of my data. I have 6 numbers, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 because 3 is half of 6. And that is my third quartile, so halfway between 14 and 15 is 14 and a half. Now I have all the information that I need to make my box plot. Now the mistake people are making on their box plots is I am not using these numbers right here to form my number line. It's a number line. So I draw my line and I need to go up by even amounts. I can start anywhere at my number line. I could start at 0. But my lowest number is 9, so it would make more sense for me to start right at 9. Now, I really should be measuring these out to make sure they're evenly spaced, but I'm just going to sketch it right here. The best would be to do on graph paper. I'm going to go 9. I can go up by 1s. I can go up by 2s. I need to make sure my line goes all the way to 17, so I'm going to go up by 2s. So I'm going to go 17, 19, 21, 23. When I look at that 9, I have a scale of 2 each time my numbers are going up by 2. Now I'm going to plot the important parts of my box plot. Now remember, I need to plot my minimum, my smallest number, my quartile 1, my median or my halfway, my quartile 3, and my maximum, the largest number. So all I'm going to do is put a line above 9 to represent my minimum. 9 and a half, well, this would be 10. So 9 and a half would be about right here. 11 and a half, I'm going to mark that as 12. So 11 and a half would be about right here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put little hash marks just to help me the whole way. 14 and a half, well, here is 14, so this would be 14 and a half, and my maximum is 17, which is right here. Now, all I have is a bunch of dashed lines, and I need to turn this into a box plot. Remember, sometimes it's called a box and whiskers, meaning my minimum is going to just connect with a line to my quartile 1. My quartile 1 and my median are going to connect to my quartile 3 and form a box. And now I'm going to make the whiskers to my maximum. So now you can kind of see why it's called a box and whiskers, like the whiskers of a cat or whiskers of a dog, and I have a box in the middle. Now I really want to label all my data. So this is 9. This was 9.5. This was 11.5. My quartile 3 was 14.5, and my maximum is 17. If I go back to the other questions, I've now labeled my median, my quartiles, the box plot, interquartile range. Well, remember, 9.5 was my quartile 1. My 11.5 is my median. We really don't call it quartile 2, but you could. So I'm not going to use that because it's median. I want quartile 3 is 14.5. The quartile range just tells you how far are those apart. So I'm going to find the difference of those two numbers. So my quartile range, my interquartile range is a range of 5. But remember, this was measured in inches, so I want to label that as 5 inches. If I wanted to have another question of finding the mean is another way to find the center of your data. You said this 11.5 was the center of my data. Another way to find the center of the data would be the mean. What I would do for the mean is I'm going to take all my numbers, I'm going to add them up. Once I add them up, I'm going to divide by the amount of numbers that I have. And that's another way to compare your data, is to look at the mean and the median. So if I wanted to do that, again, I would add all these numbers. I would do 9. So you're going to want to get your calculator and you're going to type them all in. 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 11 plus 12 plus 13 plus 14 plus 15 plus 16 plus 17. Now remember to hit the equal sign, because the calculator is really smart and it knows order of operations and it knows you should divide before you add. So if you don't hit equal, it's just going to take your last number and divide. So the sum of all those numbers is 146. Now remember, I'm going to divide by the total numbers I have, and I had 12 numbers. So 146 divided by 12 is 12.16 repeating, and that would be my mean. Now if I look at this, my mean and my median are kind of close together. And the reason why that is because there's no outliers. And when you do not have an outlier, you can either use your mean or your median. If you would have an outlier, you do not want to use the mean, because the large number will really raise your sum, and then you're really not finding a true average.